Hello, bookish crochet friends. I have a confession to make. I have never read Dune. I know next to nothing about it. I know it's a classic. I know it's original sci-fi, so I'm giving myself a challenge to read it in 4 weeks. Why 4 weeks? Well, 6 weeks ago, I started a Couch to 5K training program. I have a race coming up in 4 weeks, so this gives me a reading deadline. And I have another goal as well. I want to crochet a blanket for the charitable organization Welcome Blanket that donates blankets to immigrants in the U.S. I'm using the Poly Plum pattern Serenity, which is kind of like a granny square pattern, and I'm using Karen Big Cakes yarn in the color Deep Lake. I hope you'll join me on this big book, big challenge journey. In the week before the departure to Arrakis, when all the final scurrying about had reached a nearly unbearable frenzy, an old crone came to visit the mother of a boy. Okay, quick update on Dune. We've met Paul and his mother Jessica, and his mother has arranged for Paul to be tested by the Reverend Mother to see if he might be the Kwisatz Haderach. I don't totally know what that means, and I'm not even sure I'm pronouncing it right. But it seems that that is a thing that is desired and sought after. And Paul's ability to endure pain and also to have prophetic dreams, it seemed to potentially qualify him to be the Kwisatz Haderach. In terms of the blanket, I made this first blanket to be about 21 inches across so far, but it had this sort of tinted pucker, and I thought it must have done something wrong first, so I started unraveling it and making version 2. Alright, so I'm on page 88 in the reading, and I'm really enjoying this. So what's happened so far, I will tell you while I'm unraveling the first attempt at the blanket that I have to now redo. So Paul and his mother Jessica and his father the Duke Leto have gone to Arrakis, and it's a settlement that has almost no water. It's incredibly dry. The ability to survive, people recycle water in their suits. And then Jessica has a conversation with the family doctor, who has actually been either bribed or somehow coerced in some way to trying to attempt Paul's knife, or trying to make an attempt on Paul's life. So I'm getting ready to go do my training walk, jog, whatever. And I am not feeling great. I stayed up a lot last night with my youngest kid who was throwing up, and I just got up early to work and worked late, and now the kids are in bed and I still need to do my training workout. So we're at the point in Dune where the Duke has been told that someone very close to him is betraying him. The implication is that it's his partner Jessica, who they call his concubine, which I guess I'm not really totally comfortable with. And the Duke doesn't quite believe it, doesn't want to believe it, but in any case, he has to behave as though he does believe it in order to try to uncover who the traitor really is. And so he tells Paul that he's going to be behaving in such a way that implies that he thinks his Jessica is a traitor. And Paul says, why can't you just tell her? And he says, well, her behavior needs to be authentic so that if people are watching, that they think that I think that she's a traitor. And then the other thing that we've found out is that sort of learning about the colony where they're living, and they're learning that the sandworms, I guess, are very, very dangerous, and wherever there is spice to be found and mined, there are also sandworms. Sort of So I was listening to the Dune audiobook on my way to work, and what's happened is definitely a spoiler, so don't listen if you don't want to know. The Duke Leto was assassinated, and his family physician, Dr. Yue, was the guy that set him up to do it by implanting a poisoned capsule in one of his teeth, and it happened because Dr. Yue's wife had been captured and tortured by the Baron. So Jessica and Paul were also abducted, but they were able to get away, and we've learned that Jessica is pregnant with the Duke's daughter. And so the mantle has been passed of leadership from Duke Leto to Paul, and we're about to learn what happens next. Down, so I'm just going to give you a quick update on what's going on in Dune. So after Paul and Jessica escaped after the Duke Leto was assassinated, they ended up joining up with a tribe of Fremen, who were sort of this desert dwelling militia type people, and they were allowed to join the tribe because they convinced the tribe that they had the weirding ways, and Jessica was able to drink some poison that she was able to somehow neutralize with part of her being, and ends up becoming the Reverend Mother of the tribe. And then Paul becomes the sort of, after doing a battle to the death with a person named Jameson, also gets accepted into the tribe and becomes their Mahdi, I think. Kynes' daughter, named Cheney, is a member of this tribe, and she and Paul end up getting married, and she has a son by Paul, and they name him Leto after the Duke. So at one point, Paul has to prove his worthiness of being a member of the tribe by hooking and riding a sandworm. So it's the night before the race, and I'm experiencing the 99% effect. You get 99% of the way to finishing a goal, and then at the last minute, you feel trepidation or doubt or question whether or not it's even a worthwhile goal, and why would you even be doing it? I mean, I'll just set out my shoes and do my best. I finished the 5K in about 45 minutes, much slower than the winners, but this was never about being the fastest. Reading Dune, crocheting this blanket, and running this race, it was about facing the fear that I might be too slow, too inconsistent, or not able to finish it all. But as Paul Atreides reminds us, I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer. I will face my fear. And this time, I did.